Hi, I'm Corinne. After a lifetime of obesity, being bullied for being the fattest kid in the class, and losing and gaining weight like it was my job, I finally got my shit together and I lost 100 pounds. Each week, I'll teach you no bullshit weight loss advice you can use to overcome your battle with weight. I keep it simple. You'll learn how to quit eating and thinking like an asshole. You stop that and weight loss becomes easy. My goal is to help you lose weight the way you want to live your life. If you are ready to figure out weight loss, then let's go.
Hello, everybody. This is Corinne. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are doing our Clubhouse, and we're going to be talking to our audience and to you all about 2021 goals. Where are you at on them? What happened? So typically what we've got, if we have about 3 camps, what I believe happens when it comes to beginning of the year goals. We got number 1, we have the people who come out swinging. It's January. I'm getting my shit together. Time to go. They hit the ground running. First mistake, and then that's the end of that. The second group usually comes out very similarly, but when they hit the first mistake, they keep rolling through. They just keep rolling through, but they're forcing themselves to keep rolling through. They're telling themselves, I have to, I should, if I don't keep going through, I'm going to be miserable the rest of my life. So they're making the mistakes, but they're making the fatal flaw of talking to themselves like a complete asshole, hoping that that's going to motivate them and keep them going in their weight loss. Eventually what happens is about a third of the way to maybe halfway through the year, they run out of steam. You can only shove yourself so long, slap yourself so long until you're going to no longer tolerate your bullshit. You're going to quit trying to lose weight to get away from the jerk that you are to yourself, which is like something that we hose ourselves with all the time. And then we got the third group. The third group are the people who start out much like the first. Most of us are always starting out with a big mix of nerves, excitement, motivation, goals, a little doubt, like all the things. But the third group, what they do is about halfway through the year, they've made mistakes. They've encouraged themselves to keep going. They focus on who they want to be in the moment. They focus on where they're going. And at the halfway point, they're primed and ready to assess and figure out how to finish the year. So today, what we want to do is I want to help all of you, no matter which camp you're in. I want to help you figure out, how do you actually keep going? How do you arrive at the middle of the year with maybe group number 1, the first people that start out excited but fizzle fast? How do you get to the middle of the year and not think, I've wasted half of the year. I'll probably fuck up the other half, so why bother? Like, here's my one piece of advice. Y'all quit fucking waiting around for January 1 to change your life. If the only time that you actually get serious about doing anything for your life is on January 1, you're never going to change your life. That's like one opportunity you're giving yourself a year. So we ain't got to do that. July 1 can be the new January 1. If you're in group 2, what I want to help you with, so you started out highly motivated, bag of mixed nerves and everything, but you kind of fizzled out. Now's a really good time to get a reset and figure out what got me motivated to begin with, and then what kind of talk to myself, knowing, because this is the thing about weight loss, guys. Whatever mistakes you make on every single weight loss plan you've been on, you're going to make the same ones going forward until you learn how to talk differently to yourself, be willing to try lots of things until you unravel a solution. That's the real key. You're always going to make the same mistakes until you figure out it's not a big fucking deal. You don't have to throw yourself under the bus. You don't have to call yourself names. You don't have to make the process of making mistakes so painful that you end up just quitting on yourself just to get away from the self-talk. So what needs to change? Self-talk. Because if your self-talk can keep you going through a mistake, the answer will come to you. Every solution is at the end of a lot of shit you've tried. The solution isn't found in a magic 8 ball, a crystal ball, or sprinkled fairy dust on top of you or a lottery. You didn't just get lucky this time and figure out the right plan. And then if you're the third camp, if you have questions, you want to talk about it, it's like, all right, how do we build on our strengths? We've got this far. Now let's start leveling up more. We've got, how do you remind yourself of how far you've come so you can to throw gas on the fire and keep the momentum going all the way through the end of the year. So that's what we want to cover today. That's what I want to be coaching you guys on. So if you have questions or you want to talk to me and you want to talk to Coach MJ and get some shit straight, now is the time to raise your hand. Sarah will start bringing some people up, and then I believe she's going to ask some questions to kind of just at least one question to get us started while we get people on stage. Back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Corinne. I will get some people up here to ask some questions today. And I do have a really good question. What if I've tried to do diets a bunch of times and I just can never figure them out? I mean, I want to lose weight every year, but every year I try to get started. I fizzle out January 3rd. Maybe I make it to February. I don't know. I just coming from before when I lost weight, I get so discouraged. How do I move forward if I just keep thinking I'm never going to figure it out?
Okay, so this is super simple. And I didn't even introduce Coach MJ, but MJ is an amazing coach. She's lost, I think, 80 pounds, 70 or 80 pounds. I can't remember, MJ. Unmute yourself and tell me how much weight you've lost.
It's actually 85, but who's counting?
Exactly. Let's just, we don't have a big head about it or anything.
It's okay.
Yeah. But I just want to let y'all know, everybody who's on stage is like, who's this MJ person? MJ is actually the head coach at No BS Weight Loss, who's lost 85 pounds. She's walked all the miles in your shoes. I always like to say, you know how we always say, I've walked a mile in your shoes? I always feel like in weight loss, it's like, girl, I bought the 3XL shirt and I've worn all the sizes. So It's an honor to have you here today. She is subbing for Kathy Hartman, who is our usual podcast co-host. So MJ, when I get done answering, if you have something you want to add, just feel free to jump in after me. So this is the thing. When you keep telling yourself, this is what our brains do. Number one, you have two parts to your brain. You've got your habit brain, which is your primitive brain. It's only got, literally, it is such a dumb fucker. I mean, it just sits back there. It ain't got a care in the world. The only thing it wants to do is make sure that your life's easy. It is scared to death over everything that's going on in the world. And so what it does is it creates a lot of faux problems for you. So what it will do is it will sit around and it will think about your weight, and it will kind of look at the things you've done, and it will make bullshit assessments. And it will say things like, oh, I bet you can never figure this out. Let's just send that thought up there. Let's just send a bunch of horse shit. The problem is that we all just believe old chatter that goes on in our brain. What we forget to do is utilize another part of our brain, which is called the conscious and the reasoning part of our brain. The primitive brain works automatically. So it just tells things without any regard to anything. Literally, it's just like throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what you will listen to. Your conscious reasoning brain, it actually has to be turned on like a light switch. You have it, you just have to use it. So that's the part of our brain that we use when we sit down and let's say we're going to make a packing list to go on vacation. We're going to turn on that part of our brain to decide, what do I need to bring? What don't I need to bring? Your reasoning and conscious brain is the same way. What it can do is it can kind of listen to what the automatic thoughts are, and it can decide, oh, that's a fake problem. Oh, that's just a thought error. Oh, my brain is not thinking correctly right now. So let's say that you've started 400 diets, like me, back in the day, from the age of, I would say 10 all the way up into my 30s. I probably started at least a new diet every month. Now, a lot of times it's just I watched a comedian the other day. It's thank God Weight Watchers never did have a limit on how many times you could join, because I was just their lifetime customer. Not because I hit my lifetime weight, but because I was just going up in there about every 3 months with my tail between my legs, hoping that this time Weight Watchers would work for me. So I failed lots and lots and lots of diets, which if you looked at every time I had done a diet and I had not lost weight, the habit brain would tell me, you can't figure this out. It's too hard for you. You've never been able to lose weight before. What I didn't do is decide how I actually wanted to think about that. Because if my goal was to lose weight, I was not going to be able to do it with a brain that I only allowed it to create a fake problem out of the past diets. Like failure. I was going to have to turn on my reasoning brain, let it look at all of those attempts and decide what that really meant. what was going to be the truth. So I'm sitting on my couch when I finally decided I was going to lose weight again. Like there was guys, the heavens didn't open. Angels with harps didn't walk in the room and sun didn't beam in. This was not like enlightenment hit me. I just was sitting on the couch, crying my eyes out, thinking about how I weighed over 250 pounds and I couldn't even play with my own child who was 1 year old because I was so out of shape. And I had a thought rather than you'll never be able to lose weight because you've never been able to do it. You have failed too many times. I sat there and thought, I don't care how long it takes, but I am going to figure this out. That little thought switch was my new perspective over every single one of those. I looked at every single attempt that had failed me and decided that that meant going forward, I was going to have to figure it out. I was going to be determined to figure it out instead of sitting around and just thinking about why I can't lose weight and all the problems that I have and everything that would get in my way. When I switched over to thinking, I'm going to figure this out, that led me to thinking about, all right, what is my current life like? I started thinking about the things I was willing to do. Like I started thinking about, all right, if I'm going to figure this out, here's one thing I know. I'm not ready to give up my favorite foods. So how am I going to be able to eat my favorite foods and figure out a way to lose weight? My brain started trying to come up with solutions because I quit thinking about a faux problem about my past. And that's what I want all of you to think about. Just because your brain offers up some sentences does not make them real. Anything your habit brain offers up is always up for questioning, up for rethinking, up for interpretation. You get to engage that reasoning part of your brain, that conscious part of your brain to decide, is this what I want? Is this what I want to think about it? And if it's not what I want, I need to just turn on some thinking on purpose that I do want. I don't need those thoughts to go away. I don't need them to end. I don't need to sit and cry like a fucking titty baby that they're here. I don't need to do any of that exhaustive bullshit. It's like faux problem comes up in my brain, other side of my brain creates a possible solution. That's it. Now, it takes time. It's not an overnight thing. I've got all kinds of processes inside of No BS, but if you want the answer to that question, that's it. The real key to weight loss is learning how to get the mental bullshit unloaded so that you can clear the path to go out and start doing the shit you say you will do. Eat the shit you say you will eat. Go after the dreams you say you won't. You clear out the mental bullshit, the path starts becoming possible, doable, and clear. All right, MJ, did you want to add anything or are we good to go?
Well, I was going to say, if anybody wants, what Corinne's talking about is your magic moment. And we actually have a podcast, episode 100, Don't Miss Your Magic Moment. And your magic moment is when you've lost your weight. You look back and you look at where you started the journey. You had no idea that it was going to work. It's like Sarah was asking and you were talking about, we have all inside of No BS. This is diet number 8,765 for us, right? Like we've done all of them. And so it's like, it's taking that one leap of faith to be like, I am all in on me one more time. And I always say this whenever I talk to people, if you are listening to Corinne and you are scared that, you can't make this work, that it's not going to be the time for you, the fact that you're even listening always shows me that somewhere inside of you, you know that you can do it. You have hope and you have that desire to do it. And I just love that so much.
Yeah. And I'll just add on one other thing too. Like none of us knew, I did not know my magic moment was even happening on that couch. So don't sit around and think that you need some kind of lightning bolt to hit you to get you to start doing this. Most of us, when we start losing weight, guess what? We're scared as fuck too. Guess what? We have doubts. Every single one of us is sitting there wondering if we can do it. We have all of that thinking. But when you become a success story, it's because you have all of that thinking and you include some new thinking with it. None of us started because we sat around and waited for the moment that I'm brave now. I'm suddenly courageous. Oh my God, the light switch. Now I know it's going to happen. That's a fucking no. Quit asking. Y'all quit asking me, but what if I don't know if I'll lose weight? So, I didn't know either. Thank God I got off my ass anyway. That's what I think all the time. Guys, quit waiting around to know. You know what you should be? Rather than asking, well, what if I don't know if I'll lose weight? Well, what if you just get started? When's that happening? Why don't we just ask a better question? Rather than asking, what if I don't know? Ask, well, when am I going to start? What's my date? What's my time? What meal am I starting with? What's the next change? If you're going to ask questions, guys, ask good questions. Don't ask pointless bullshit diet questions like, what if you don't believe in yourself? pounds. Who gives a fuck? Nobody who loses all their weight started off believing in themselves on day one. Quit acting like you're some kind of anomaly. Welcome to being every other woman that started a weight loss journey. Okay, I don't know if y'all can tell, but I started my period this morning. Always got my hormones going. I'm ready to yell. I'm already sweating. Let's go, Sarah. Who are we coaching?
All right. First, before we get to the Q&A, I want to let everyone know at the end of the hour, Corinne is going to be sharing 3 keys to resetting your goal and getting started again. These are 3 really quick, actionable tips. So stay to the top of the hour and we will share those with you. I also just want to welcome everyone who is coming into the room. This is a live recording of the Losing 100 Pounds with Corinne podcast. We are opening it up to Q&A. So if you have any questions about how to reach your weight loss goal in 2021, feel free to raise your hand. And if you are ready to get off the couch and get started and make this magic moment happen for yourself, go and take Corinne's free course today. You can find that at nobs.club. Or if you're listening to the replay podcast, go to nobsfreecourse.com. It's a 3-day free video course, and it's going to teach you the basics of losing weight. It is so simple and common sense. If this inspires you, go do that right now. All right, we'll get on to our first question. Good morning, Emily. Do you want to unmute and tell us what your question is today regarding reaching your weight loss goals this year?
Hello. So my question is, I was going over all of my boom goals the other day, actually. So this is a perfect topic for me right now. And when I was assessing that, I'm sort of realizing that the goal that I set in the beginning of the year is not feasible for me to reach by the end of this year. So should I go back and remake that goal, or do I keep that goal and just see where I can get? Not sure how I should proceed at this moment.
Well, here's my opinion. You can do this either way, but it's the thoughts backing it up. Right now, your thought is about your goal. It's not feasible to get there. Y'all, and if anybody's wondering, like, what the fuck's a boom goal? It's called blowing our own mind. It's something we talk about inside of No BS all the time. So I did want to mention that in case the podcast listeners are like, oh my God, I don't know what a boom goal is. I must stop listening now. No, you don't. So your thought, it's not feasible. I would never think that about my goals, ever. Not for 1 second. It feels true. Like, I am sure, Emily, you've done the math and you're looking at the things. That's the problem. When we think something like my goal's not feasible at this point, all it does is have us brainstorm all the math that it can't happen. It's such a waste of time. I mean, think about it. It sends your brain into the trajectory. It's like when you think about, my goal is not feasible, we feel a little defeated. You may not be in the dooter or the toilet about it, but it's going to feel a little deflating. Deflating is probably the best word. It just kind of pops the balloon of your New Year's goal, right? And so that has us like looking forward and estimating how far off we are. It's just not it's not what I would advise anyone to ever do for themselves with their goals. So when you think about your goal, you really want to get into the mindset of, okay, it's the middle of the year. This is how much I wanted to lose. This is where I'm at. And we need a thought it's not feasible. And here are some suggestions. You could be thinking, I've done a lot of good work this year, and here are the things I've done. I'm going to build off of that. You could think, after you do that, you could even think, look, do I want a new goal, or do I just want to keep this one? And you just start getting into the mindset of deciding. But I feel like right now you're trying to decide from the energy of, I want to reset the goal so that at the end of the year, I won't be disappointed. No matter what you do I don't care if you lose all of the weight, more of the weight, or a lot less. If you don't want to be disappointed at the end of the year, then all you have to do is think about all the effort you gave this year. Focus on all the things you learned. All you have to do is look at all the things that you challenged yourself with, and then talk about it and give yourself praise. If we don't want to be disappointed at the end of the year, that's all it takes. It does not matter what number any of you end up at. The other thing is that what I would do right now if I was you, Emily, is I would go ahead and do that process now now, because the number, all of you think the number is the goal. The number is a 1/10 of the goal. If you take, so I have a free challenge coming up. So if you're No BS Women, don't worry about this. We talk about this inside the membership all the time. But if you're going to do my free challenge, and at the end, Sarah will give us information on how you get signed up and all this other stuff. Just make sure you're following me on Instagram. You can do that in my profile. If you're here in Clubhouse, you'll get invited through there, and you'll get invited through email. But the main, like during that challenge, I'm going to be talking to you guys about, we don't want to just weigh a certain amount. Like, Emily, let me ask you this. Let's just say at the end of the year, you were to hit your goal. Outside of weighing that, why do you want to be there? What do you think your life's going to be like once you get there that's different than it is now?
Well, one of my main whys is that I want to feel accomplished and see that I have truly done something good for myself, that I've put my health first.
Okay, so you're doing that now. So why are you not just feeling accomplished today? Do you see what I'm saying? You're like, oh, I want to get to my goal weight so I can feel accomplished and see that I'm doing good things for myself. Have you not done any of that this last 6 months?
Oh, no, I've done amazing things.
Yeah. So I want you to just listen to what's happening in your brain. You have to tell yourself, like, we can't just hang the goal is so that I can feel accomplished. The goal is today I feel accomplished because I did these things. I'm already that person now. I'm going to tell you, Emily, it'll make the next 6 months a whole lot more enjoyable. What else?
Yeah. No, this was perfect. I'm nodding my head, but I realize nobody's seeing me, so this is great.
All right, so give me one other thing that when you reach your goal weight that you think will be different about your life, and that you or that you think you'll be feeling.
My joints will be easier, so it'll be easier to hike with friends. I really enjoy hiking with friends. I've completed 2 half marathons so far, and my goal is to do another one this year. And so just completing another half marathon with more ease would be wonderful.
So this is what I would do then. What I would do is I would focus right now more on, rather than thinking my goal is not feasible, I want you to start, look at your goal at the end, and I want you to start from the place of, here's everything I've already accomplished, and really list all that out. Here's all the amazing things I've already done this year. Here are the successes I've already collected. This is how I've already changed, and start from that place, and then decide, all right, knowing all of this, do I want to change the goal or not? Because when you look at all your successes, you'll be looking at your goal from the place of, look at all this that I've already done, and now I want to look at my goal. And rather than thinking it's not feasible, I want to start thinking, I've got a great foundation. I've got a great base. I know how to, I can build off of this to get there. And then you'll know, this is the way that I always do goals. Sometimes I reset goals because if a goal, let's say, if I take a look at the end of the year and I notice, man, in order to get there, I'm going to have to do a lot of shit I don't really want to do. I'm going to have to get there practically being an asshole to myself. I'm going to have to get there in installing habits that I don't want. So I'm okay with changing the goal to say, how I get there is way more important than getting there in this time frame. So when you look at it from your successes and what you truly want out of your life, knowing whether or not you're going to change your goal becomes really easy. And it comes from love. It comes from future. It comes from being the person you want to be. Right now, I think what it's coming from is scared you won't hit it. We don't want to mess with our goals from the scared mindset. We want to do our thought work around getting into the right mindset. MJ, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I know. Emily, a lot of times for me, I always went to how I failed, what I had done wrong. That's just what my brain did. When I first started, you're looking to feel accomplished. I was always looking to feel proud. And I always wrote, and still do every day, how can I go to bed proud tonight? What can I do today that will create that feeling when I go to bed? And you might want to do that for accomplished. Just write that in the morning, and it will put your brain to work on finding all of those ways. Maybe it is getting your water in. Maybe it is doing a workout to get towards your goal of doing another half marathon. Whatever it is, put your brain to work on that, because, we so often just go to just the crappiest thoughts about ourselves, which is what we've done for so long. So put your brain to work on, where you want it to go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, MJ.
Thank you so much for your question, Emily. What a great way to look at the goals that we've set already this year and just take a little bit of a reassessment. I want to talk about the challenge that Corinne mentioned really quickly before we get to our next caller. We are doing a Take Control of Food challenge, and it's going to run August 1st through 7th. Our challenge signups are going to start on July 25th. And if you would like to join our challenge, make sure to follow Corinne on Instagram at Corinne Crabtree or follow us on Facebook, and you will get notified to sign up for the challenge. You can also get on our email list by taking our free course at nobs.club, or if you're listening to the replay, head to nobsfreecourse.com. And after you take the free course, you will be invited to sign up for our challenge. With that, we'll go on to our next caller, Kim. Good morning, Kim. What is your question?
Good morning, everyone. Maybe I just need to listen to the end where Corinne's going to talk about how to reset. I am a no BS woman. I made Queen's Club, and shortly thereafter just kind of got stuck, and I've been up and down the same, I think 3 or 4 pounds because I refuse to weigh myself. I do need to reset. I will never give up. I am extremely proud that I was sure that menopause was just my death, and it wasn't. I actually lost the weight that I thought I would never lose. And I had always, unlike many women in no BS, I had always been like the thin one. And then it was a shit show, and then I decided to stop blaming menopause. And I did really well, and I did it slowly and differently because every time I went on a diet, I would end up just gaining more at the end. So now I don't know if it's fear. I don't know if it's my perfection, because for instance, one of my goals is to be proud of me, and it doesn't seem as if I can unless I follow my plan to the letter, which doesn't happen often.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why is you said that oh my God, Corinne, the worst thing ever is to have to follow my plan to the letter. Why is that such a problem? Are you not making a plan you like? Because if you like it, you shouldn't have to be sitting around bitching about it.
I think I'm too much of a perfectionist, and I'm not. I heard someone recently on one of the calls, a back podcast or something, where someone actually said, well, I'm going to eat well today. I'm not sure what it's going to be because we're going out, but I'm going to, just choose this or that. And I'm writing on my plan 1 tablespoon of peanut butter and half a banana for breakfast.
Okay, why are you not doing the stuff I've taught you? So this is what I want to point out what's happened. You get to, first of all, you're telling yourself some shit story like I'm stalled at 3 to 4 pounds. You don't even know. You even said it. I was like, I'm not weighing, but I'm just going to keep telling myself I'm stalled because that feels like shit. And then wonder why I'm creating asshole plans. And then I'm like, don't even like them. And then I'm going to be sitting around wondering why I'm not following them. Have I got it about right?
Well, I also sometimes or often.
Now, we are not going to sit here and tell me all the reasons why I'm broken. Do you see what your brain's kind of doing here?
What my brain is doing, yes, what my brain is doing is really equating following my plan to being a woman of my word. So if I didn't follow it, I felt like that was the first thing that we had to do. I felt my first message I felt in this whole program was do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah. So let's do that. Let's actually make a plan where it's easy for you to do what you say you're going to do. Right now, you're making a plan that doesn't have her interest in mind. You're making a plan from the mindset of, well, I've been stalled for 3 or 4 months. And if I don't follow my plan to the absolute perfect T, I probably can't lose weight. That's how does all that feel? When I just said your own words back to you, what feeling does that emote for you?
It's fear. It's fear, actually.
Yeah. And then when you're afraid, when you're sitting around all day long, afraid of your own food plan, afraid that you can't lose your weight, afraid that you're in a stall, afraid that you're not a woman of her own word, what do?
Don't make a plan.
Right. Avoid the things that are that your brain is causing fear around. See, the plan is not making you afraid. It's your thoughts about it. And so what we do is we give up on the plan instead of just saying like, hey, if I'm going to be afraid, because right now you're saying like, I'm just going to be afraid that this won't work and keep trying to do shit that won't work. Or you could just be afraid to plan stuff that you're afraid to plan and then start following it. I mean, if you're going to be afraid, I would be afraid of the right thing that gets me where I want to go. I would just move through that fear. You're quitting to avoid the fear. All I want you to do is just realize like your brain is making this such a fake problem. Like you're now not a woman of your word. You're not following a food plan each day. Last I checked, when we all try to check into the pearly gates, they're not going to be like, oh my God, I see you broke 400 food plans. Like you're out.
You're not a woman of your word.
Exactly. I don't give a shit how you showed up in life. You sure didn't follow those food plans. But you see like how your brain is making this such a big fucking deal?
Yes, and I keep telling myself every day, it's your brain, it's your thoughts, you know, you did well, you did this, you did that. And you know what this other weird, freaky phenomenon is? When I have this day when I'm going, you were a badass today, you did everything perfect. The next day, I completely go ham.
Yeah, but that's not because you had a good day. It's because the next day you woke up and you had a thought. That's it. You just need to find what thought you have the next day. It's probably some permissive thought.
That must be it. Like, I was so good yesterday, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, but I just need to make sure that when you tell yourself you did good, I want all of you to pay attention to this. So right now, like when you did good, does that mean I followed a plan that was unrealistic for me, but that day I was able to make myself do it? Even if it's not what I ultimately want, like, you know, half the time I can make myself, but half the time, like I dread it. It's terrible. It's not like how I really want to lose my weight, that kind of stuff. Like, is that what you're talking about?
No, I think it's when I was a badass, it's partly following the plan, but it's that I did 300 other things too. Oh my God, I did my meditation today and I did my walk today and I did my this today and that. I think I try to do, 10 things in a day.
That's okay. That part's okay. Yeah. I just want to this is what I'm getting at. Sometimes what we do is we'll have meditations, follow our plan, walking, have sex with the partner, wipe all the asses of the kids and they go to bed with a clean nose. Like we just do all the things, right? Mm-hmm. But all day long, what we did is we said, I have to do this. I need to do this. I got to do this. I should be doing this. I know I don't want to. I need to get it. Like we kind of talk about it in such a pushy, willpowery way that at the end of the day, when we get through all of it, we're like, oh my God, I was such a badass. Like our summary of everything we did is amazing. But how we got to that is like an asshole. Our brain, the next day, it's gone through what I call a traumatic event. And then we tell ourselves, we give ourselves a traumatic event all day long around you should be doing this. You have to do this. You don't say no to that person. You don't want to piss them off. And, you got to put yourself, you got to get it all done. That's like a big ass traumatic event that we're doing on a daily basis. And then we're telling ourselves at the end of the day, oh my God, you were so good today. You're such a badass. And then we wonder why the next day we ain't got no energy left. But then we feel bad. Now we're not a good person if we didn't do all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just kind of have to watch that language a little bit. And since you're a no BS woman, this is some stuff I'd start unpacking. I would start listening to a typical day at how you're talking to yourself. Let's just focus in on your weight loss. Not even all the other shit. Just, all right, when I'm making a plan, what do I think that gets me to do it? Is it something encouraging? Or is it something forceful and commanding? When I'm eating, same thing. When I think about food, when I think about the next meal, when I think about meditation, when I think about walking, am I commanding myself, bitching at myself, kind of wagging my finger and shaking myself? Am I exasperating myself to get it all done? What is the language like? Or is it empowering? Really listen for a few days. Mm-hmm. Commit to the next 3 days. I'm going to do the things just for 2 or 3 days so I can figure out what I'm thinking. I'm going to be actually teaching this concept tomorrow, Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Central Time inside the membership on our weekly call. It's called the Thought Reveal Process. We're going to be talking about it tomorrow, so I can go a little more in depth. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to put yourself in your own brain's harm's way. You're going to just throw yourself into into your plan and throw yourself into your days where you do all the things. But rather than, when I say in your brain's harm's way, you're going to be watching for the language that you're using and you're not going to judge it. You really need to understand it so that you can start unwinding. What is all this talking that I'm doing? When I'm creating my plan, like, why am I putting half a banana in 1 tablespoon of peanut butter? I just want to know my reasons. It may be an amazing breakfast. It may be all that you really need. But if you're telling yourself it's all I can have, this is what a good person would eat, it's never going to work long term. You're going to be breaking plans and you'll try to get away from plans. You'll be doing things to create relief from your thinking about what you're doing. And I have a sense that that's what's happening right now.
Yes, I think it's probably, I thought I got over it being a no BS woman for the past 8 months, but I think it's probably old diet thinking that's coming in.
Oh God, we never get over our diet mentality.
I know.
Like you're a good example. I just want to tell you, don't think that, oh, I just thought I got all over that. Tell me how that feels.
God damn it. I thought I was done with this.
Right, exactly. I just want you to notice how much energy in your brain you're spending on pissing yourself off. And then wondering why it's so hard and why food feels like a pretty good option. Let me just create some relief over here. Let me just stop doing some of this stuff so I can get away from my own fucking thinking. Like, let's just change the thinking so that you can get away from your thinking by changing your thinking and you can get all the way to your goal. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you so much for your question, Kim. We are going to move on to our next caller today, but don't forget, we will be sharing 3 top tips for resetting your goal and getting started again here at the top of the hour. Good morning to Carol. Would you like to unmute and then say, my question is, and then say your question?
Good morning. Thank you. My question is, what can I tell myself to stay on track when I'm going to recommit in July to a reset? I joined No BS after the March free course. I lost 25 pounds, but in the past 6 weeks, I have not been doing anything other than making a plan. And I've already, before this call, had already filled out my July, my monthly plan, and already had decided to recommit. But this is a pattern for me. I'm good for a couple months and then I stop. I usually gain my weight back. I have maintained this time, which means that I'm listening and things are working. But I guess I need a thought to tell myself how to stay on track this time. Thank you.
So, Carol, number one, this is really normal. This is what happens very often. What we do is we reach a level of success. This is what I most often see is when we're in a lot of pain over our weight, like our weight, or, we really want to get started. We're trying to move away from a lot of the pain of where we're at with our weight. That was like me at 250. It's easy to do the new things. It's easy to kind of like to think about where you're going. And then what ends up happening is you start getting further from the pain of being overweight and you start feeling like, oh, okay, it's not so bad now. And there's a transition period that a lot of people go through. And so I just want to tell you that it's like what ends up happening is when we're losing weight, if we've used beating ourselves up or waiting for a rock bottom or needing everything to be a shit show before we ever lose weight, our brain gets conditioned to needing that kind of emotional thinking energy to do the things. And so what I teach you is very different. And so you lose 25 pounds, you feel really good about yourself. You're losing the old way that you would whip yourself into going. And so when you get a little bit of success, your brain automatically can start sometimes thinking more successful things. And so what we've got to do is we just got to transition to inserting some thoughts that make it worth it to keep going. So something already is working because what's different from the other times is you would have gained weight. So you're definitely talking to yourself about like reasons why to keep moving forward. Now we just kind of got to throw the gas on the fire. I don't think you have to do much. I don't think you need to be like this. Like I wouldn't even say this is what I always do because you've already said it. It's not what you always do. You've already said this time is different. I didn't even regain weight. Normally I would. Like you need to tell yourself, this is not like the other times. That's really the only shift you need to make in your thinking, is to quit trying to compare it to the other times. Now, and if you just start telling yourself that, like list, why is this unlike every other time? What makes this time so different? What am I looking forward to starting back up today? Don't you wait till July 1st. We start today. We don't start July 1. Today's June 29th. There's no reason why we need to fuck around for 2 days getting ready for July 1st. Let me ask you this. You've already made a plan today, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you wait to eat until you're hungry?
I'm good at it early in the morning.
Okay. Can you do it tonight?
I will work on it. I will try.
That's bullshit. All right. You asked me, like, what do I need to tell myself? It ain't, I'll try. Listen at your voice. You're already convinced it's going to be hard. I don't think it's going to work, but I'll give it an effort. Could you imagine if I came to your coaching session? Let's say that you were going to hire me for 6 months. And I said, well, thank you for paying me, Carol. I don't know if it's going to work. I bet it's going to be hard, but I'm going to try to be your coach. What would you do?
Probably fire you.
Exactly. So I need you to fire yourself right now.
Got it.
There's just no reason to even think it. Like, we all do this. Like I'm probably going to disappoint myself. So let me just disappoint myself ahead of time so I won't feel so bad when it doesn't work tonight. So now your brain has only sat around and thought about all the ways it can't work and visualizes you eating. It's poor direction for your brain. So just tell me, what are we going to do tonight? It's this evening. We going to wait till we're hungry?
I am going to wait till I'm hungry to eat.
Yeah. Might it be hard?
Yes.
So what are you going to do about that?
Tell myself that I can do it.
Yep. When the moments it starts feeling hard, your brain starts offering up fake ass problems, like you're going to starve. You need to look at yourself like, I ain't starving. There's people in the world right now who are legit starving. I don't think I'm in that country.
No.
Like we got to get real with ourselves. So you're going to watch for your fake ass problems that your brain's going to create and just tell yourself, I'm pretty sure we're going to be okay.
All right.
Okay. That's literally all you got to do. Start today. Just wait till you're hungry. And then when you eat, pay attention. Okay. You don't even have to tell yourself, I got to stop. You just need to let me just pay the fuck attention when I'm eating. I bet that'll make it. I'll bet I'll learn something. It's so much easier to quit eating when you pay attention.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thanks.
Oh, hey, did you watch my call I did last Saturday?
I'm sure I did.
Okay. Last Saturday, we did the very first, we did a whole session with me helping everybody go through the brand new monthly planning and assessment worksheet.
I did. Now that you said that, yes, I went through it.
Okay,
and
good.
I actually did the assessment, and yesterday I went and did the second half of it.
Good. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you saw that. So anybody who's listening, who's an OBS woman, if you're wanting to get your monthly plan together, we just started a brand new call where you guys are workshopping with me on I think it's like the last Saturday of every month. We're going to assess our month, and then we're going to plan our month, and we're doing it together, and we're doing it in meeting style where we can break you out into sessions. So I just wanted to make sure you saw it and that everybody knew about it. If y'all didn't go live, you can watch it in the replays, or you can listen to it in your private member podcast. I think MJ wants to add one thing, and then we'll move on.
Yes, I was actually listening to a little bit of Corinne this morning from a past camp, and she talked about that every day we have 200 thoughts about food. So if you're looking at the next 3 days before you're, gonna recommit or get started or whatever, that's 600 decisions that you could be moving closer to your goal. And even if you only make 200 decisions that are going to help you get there out of the 600 that you could make, like how much further could you be towards your goal in 3 days? Like there is no magic time. Every day you wait, that's 200 decisions you can make. So I am so glad that you've already done that, the work for next month. But yeah, start today. That's awesome.
Okay. It's a lot of practice.
That's right. Get your practice reps in, Carol. Thank you so much for your question and good luck getting started again. I want to let everyone know, we've been talking a lot about No BS Women and the No BS weight loss program. Corinne is actually going to open up the membership for new people to join August 4th through 7th. So make sure you've taken our free course at nobs.club to get more information on how you can join and become a No BS Woman here in August. With that, we're going to get to our last question. This is because we're going to keep this one short because we have got to reveal the 3 top tips for resetting your goal here at the top of the hour. All right, Paula, what is your question? Unmute and say, my question is.
Hi, my question is around if I am needing to reevaluate my goal weight. So I have been listening to your podcast for just about 2 years. And last year during lockdown, I really started doing the work. I've done all of your free stuff, all of your challenges and things like that. And I am a couple of pounds from my goal weight. And I've lost about 50 pounds. My question is, should I go a little lower than that, knowing that my weight fluctuates so that it'll always be okay? Or am I just playing games with my brain around that?
You're playing games.
Okay.
Like it being okay is a decision you make, not what the number tells you.
Okay. Yeah.
Like if you want the number to be okay, it can be okay. Like your number, right? Like you're not, all of you listening, I don't give a damn what you weigh. That number literally gets to be okay right now. It doesn't have to be bad, too much, not at my goal. It doesn't have, like, all of that is a way that you think about it. And every way that you think about your weight, no matter what weight it is going to create a feeling.
Okay. And honestly, I've been wondering these last few pounds whether I'm finished losing weight because, as I approached this number, I was like, oh, this isn't the body I had, 20 years ago when I weighed this, 25 years ago when I weighed this. And I've really come to terms that that's really okay.
Good.
Because my body's been through a hell of a lot of stuff in those last 25 years.
And it's 25 years older.
Yes.
Like
exactly.
It is like ridiculous of any of us to think that after 25 years, I'm like, oh my God, I weigh the same. I don't know why I don't look the same.
Right. And I'm really in a good place with that.
Yeah.
I'm starting to lift weights so that I can, get stronger because I want to feel strong.
Yeah.
Not because I necessarily want it to look different, but I'm kind of thinking maybe I'm okay where I'm at.
Okay. So this is what I would do this is such a good question. And it's one of the reasons why I'm writing for the No BS Women for next year, a maintenance program, because no one's teaching maintenance and somebody's got to, so I might as well be the first one. One of the things that you want to do is you really want to write about why you love the weight you're at now, all the amazing reasons to stay here, the life that it allows you to have. Like you really want to get into a good place around loving the weight you are now. Then you want to take, like, if you want to lose a little bit more, you write about what do I think would be different? Like literally, I just want you, it's a simple question, but it's like, what will be, like if I lose 5 more pounds, if I lose 10 more pounds, whatever it is, what is going to be different for me? And see if maybe what's happening is some of that's already happening now. You just keep thinking this new weight is now going to give you the permission. Like sometimes it's like to enjoy my body. It's like, well, what if we just start, like when you do the list of all the things, you're already doing it, but what if we gave ourselves permission to enjoy our body now, would we need to keep going?
Right.
Like we keep thinking that this number gives us permission to sometimes feel and do and think the things about our body that we can already do now. So you want to kind of separate that out. And then the last part is to give yourselves reasons why it could be fun to do it. For me, if I'm ever going to lose any more weight, it will only be for like the challenge. To see what I'm made of, to see what, just all that kind of stuff, like to kind of almost to invite some hard work in, like on purpose in a very fun way.
Okay.
So those are just some things to think about.
Quite honestly, my goal number is because of a stupid BMI chart. So part of me thinks I need to stop so that I'm not thinking that, oh gosh, that's the be all end all. And that maybe at some point later on, like you said, if I want to lose a little bit more for the challenge, I can do that.
Yeah. Well, this is the other thing too. Just remember, like you don't need to quit losing weight to quit thinking the BMI chart is the end all be all.
Right.
You can this is what I want you to watch out for. Just clean up your thinking. Like look at because I think this is very common for all of you. We say things. This is why I have you write stuff. Write all your thoughts down. Then go back and realize how many thoughts you're having and be like, is that even true? It's like, oh, if I don't want to believe in the BMI, I just can decide it's bullshit and not something that I'm going to base my goal weight on anymore. Like that's how you not make it the end all be all. You don't have to give up on your goal. That's why I want to make sure that if you keep losing or not, I want you doing it from a place of like, no, I really do want this. And I love my reasons for it, because if you love your reasons for it, the process to get there, you'll enjoy it and it'll be challenging. If you don't love your reasons for it, you'll be pushing and shoving and dragging yourself along and frustrating yourself and pretty much developing an angry ass relationship with your goal weight. And it's like, you worked so hard and deserve to enjoy it. Let's not shit on it at the end.
Okay. I love that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question, Paula. It is the top of the hour, so I want to make sure that, Corinne, you can share your top 3 resources for resetting your goal and getting started again.
Okay, guys. Number 1, the very first thing you need to stop doing is using the word never. Like, guys, if you are including the word never, I'll never lose my weight, I'll never keep this off, I'll never be able to eat that again, I tell you right now, you're not going to be able to reset your goals. You're also going to shit all over the relationship you have with your goals. So clean up the word never. The second thing that I want you all to think about is I want you to re-listen to episode 88 of the podcast. It dropped on December 14th of 2018. I take you through the process of how to set realistic goals. So if you're looking to do your reset, that would be a great podcast episode to go back to. Take notes and do exactly as I told you to. The third one is another podcast episode. It's number 183. It released on October 2nd of 2020. It's called the 5 characteristics of weight loss grit. And I really go into on that podcast, these 5 characteristics that you're going to need to face your doubts, to keep going when you don't want to make mistakes and persevere. So it's a really good podcast for those of you who are kind of like sitting around and wondering, like, how do I keep going? What do I do if I've stalled? What, like all the callers that said that they had stalled. It's a really good podcast for all of that. And then I'm going to give you a bonus one. John Acuff's book, Finish. It's just the word finish. He has a chapter in there called The Day After Perfect. I think that when I talked in the very beginning about there being 3 types of people that got started at the in 2021 on their goals, especially for persons 1 and 2 who started off and at some point quit or fizzled, you really want to read this book. It tells you how to, on Day After Perfect, it talks about people are really good at a goal until they hit the first hiccup. And how you show up for yourself the day after perfect is everything to finishing. So that's a really good book. You can get it if you go over to pnp411.com/faves, FAVES. And we will put links to all this in the podcast so that you guys can find all this stuff. You can order that book from there. That's my store where I have all the books that I recommend and things like that for you. All right. That's it for today. Sarah, anything else before we close out?
Just remember, if you haven't taken that free course, head to nobs.club. You sign up for the free course. We'll send you a free workbook. Corinne has 3 video lessons for you to get your weight loss started. And being on that email list is a surefire way you'll be invited to our challenge for the first week of August, as well as be notified when the No BS weight loss program is open for new members. So do that today if you haven't yet.
All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening today. Make sure you head on over to nobsfreecourse.com and sign up for my free weight loss training on what you need to know to start losing your weight right now. You'll also find lots of notes and resources from our past podcasts to help you lose your weight without all the bullshit diet advice. I'll see you next week.